Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio. And now, here's our host, Dr. Vanessa Anceloni.
Welcome, dear listener, to Kardec Radio. We are here live from the Chantilly, Virginia studios at Kardec Radio. What a joy. What a joy, because every time we have the opportunity of spending time with you, we are very happy. Because when we talk about things that nourish our souls, when we share knowledge that serves the purpose for immortality, lives to come, we really feel we're spending the time of our lives in the best possible way. After every program, we feel like we have fulfilled our task. We feel like we have been in a loving meeting with you. And wherever you are in this world, please remember, Kardec Radio is always here to answer to your questions and to address the issues that life presents to you. Today, we are going to present to you a fantastic resource that has been built over the years by Heather Bollick Fonseca and her husband Daniel. They are in Florida, they are spiritists, and years ago, they started this beautiful initiative, ExploreSpiritism.com. And it has become so resourceful that we need to share with all of you wherever you are in the world. You know, recently our webmaster told me that we have listeners in more than 96 countries in the world. But listen to me, dear listener. This is just from the website, KardecRadio.com. But Kardec Radio has another statistics from Blog Talk Radio, from iTunes, Tuning Radio, etc. So I tell you, Kardec Radio has been expanding so much that we need more and more help. So if you're listening to this and you feel the call to volunteer, remember, Kardec Radio is 100% volunteer-based. If you want to help as a host, as an editor, as a designer for ideas, websites, programs, wherever comes to your mind, we're here. Just send us an email, kardecradio@gmail.com. We have a big team working around the world, but we always need more help. It's something that we do at a volunteer basis, but we need more and more because, by the way, this is the only Spiritist radio in English language. And we really need more and more help because Kardec Radio is for everyone around the world. Recently, we've received an email from a listener in Ethiopia, and they were asking more about Kardec's foundational books. So pretty soon, we'll be able to address it in a program this coming March, okay? But today we also are very happy because one of the creators and the person who took the lead on the website Explore Spiritism, Heather, she's here with us. She's also the author of the book Changing Lives with Spiritism, which was a previous program at Kardec Radio. Did you know that you still have access to the program? You do. You can listen to it on demand. If you are at KardecRadio.com, there's a search bar. Just go there and put Heather's name, Heather Bollick Fonseca, or you can do Changing Lives with Spiritism. You can listen to the program as well. If you have any problems, of course, always send us an email, KardecRadio@gmail.com, and we will always be happy to listen from you and answer to your questions. But the second reason why we're also happy is because Dr. Andrew Moreira is here with us. Yes, he's here, and he's here to share something also with us. He is starting his Spiritist talks, the tour in the United States this other time because he comes here quite often, helping the groups around, spreading the news about Spiritism and the fantastic books that he has been writing, which, by the way, some of them are already in English, others are coming up in English, but they are also in other languages as well. Dr. Moreira is a general physician with a specialty in homeopathy. He lives in Brazil, and he does so many things that, I'll tell you more about it later, but so many things that we have a lot to learn from him as well. Right now, we're going to kickstart the program. Before I open a line for Heather, and of course, if you ever have question directly to Heather, Dr. Moreira, myself, we have the phone number 858-769-4705 for you. And we can always answer to your questions or read your comments from the Blog Talk Radio chat room. Just go there, blogtalkradio.com/Kardec Radio. And when you click on the very program of today's Explore Spiritism, there's a chat. You send in your comments, your questions, and this is the enriching moment for all of us. Now, we're going to kickstart the program with a beautiful message by the Spirit Joanna de Angelis. Keep your optimism. And Joanna de Angelis wrote through Divaldo Franco this very message and others, and they were compiled and published in a book, which also became a CD, Living and Loving. You can have access to it at ssbaltimore.org or very recently in Miami, the publisher, Leal Publisher, is being launched this March. So many of Joanna de Angelis' books, Divaldo Franco's psychographed books, will be available right here in the United States territory for you. We'll tell you more in the near future about that. For now, enjoy the beautiful message. Keep your optimism.
Chapter 6. Keep your optimism.
The dispirited companion who walks by your side may be facing a crucial ordeal. That friend of yours who slipped into delinquency may have tried hard to avoid crime. The other one who succumbed to vice may have fought against it but was not strong enough. The co-worker who discontinued service might have tried to stay in his place but was unable to comply. The friend who suddenly became your enemy may not have been able to overcome his pernicious tendencies. People acting negatively need understanding rather than criticism. Some might have wished to act differently but could not help themselves. A few others may be secretly trying to fight their negative drives. Many may have already acted as anonymous heroes but are now in disgrace. All of them need a new opportunity to prove themselves, that they can change their behavior. They may never ask for help. Still, they should be given a new chance. Consider the positive side of people's actions and forget their weaknesses. Do not reject them. It is easy to fraternize with nice and diligent people always willing to cooperate and serve. It is agreeable to enjoy the company of worthy persons. But they also have problems of which you probably know nothing about. The earth is both a school and a hospital for unhealthy souls. Nobody living on earth now is an exception from this rule. It is useless to seek the company of angels, since they are not incarnate on earth now. All people on this planet bear the same characteristics as yourself. They suffer, have their own limitations, and they want to live in peace, and they dream with happiness. Try not to comment on the deficiency of others. If you cannot help them, keep silent and excuse them when they hurt you. Do not be disheartened by their behavior. If you know what you are looking for and are willing to serve, go on acting as you know best, and be gentle to all who come your way. Do not harbor grief or disappointment within your heart. Be an optimist. Help those who have gone astray back to the right road. Abandoned and betrayed, Jesus was never disheartened. Never did he display resentment. He was the great winner of all the battles that life reserved for him.
What a message, dear listener. This really sets the tone for the program. And we're very optimistic because, more and more friends around the world are really creating this network of resources on Spiritism for people around the world and for generations to come. There is this beautiful resource of information, ExploreSpiritism.com. And we have here with us one of the very people who created it and still sustains the work, Heather Balak Fonseca, who is also the author of the book Changing Lives with Spiritism. Hi, Heather. Thank you so much for being with us today at Kardec Radio once again. How are you?
I'm doing great, Vanessa. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you, Heather. We just listened to this beautiful message by Joana de Angelis on keeping optimism and the importance of, keeping ourselves in the bright light side of life. So when I see the site Explore Spiritism, a big smile comes to my face because it has become such a beautiful source of information and so resourceful. But I know, Heather, you haven't been a spiritist, and I say this figuratively because it's not a label per se, but you found Spiritism in this reincarnation in a particular way. Would you like to share with us how was it?
Sure, and you are very correct. I, lived many years of my life completely ignorant of Spiritism. So it was a wonderful change for me. And I was introduced to Spiritism by my husband, who was born in Brazil and grew up, in fact, in a Spiritist family. And to be honest, at first I was still a little leery at that time in my life of anything like religion. I guess you could say I was sort of agnostic at the time. And aside from that, spirits, quite frankly, were not something that I actually knew to exist. But I was also at a point in my life where I was looking for some answers because just months prior to meeting who's now my husband, my grandfather had passed away, and that event shook me emotionally and became sort of like a catalyst, I guess, for my wanting to know whether God existed, whether there was life after death. So all around the same time, I started doing a little searching on my own, which I guess kind of prepared me to become open to Spiritist ideas. And learning about, like, near-death experiences, for example, was one of the things that opened my mind. But I remember a particular turning point when I had read the book and saw the movie For What Dreams May Come. Because at that point, with the things I had read and the things that Daniel talked to me about a little bit from Spiritism, they all just started to click. And Vanessa, I remember getting home from that movie with Daniel and just crying. Like, I broke down bawling, but not out of sadness. Instead, it was like relief and hope. And I felt this huge weight coming off my shoulders. And then I was ready to learn more about Spiritism. So the first book I had that Daniel gave to me was the Spirits book. And I would say I was enamored, not only because I found the topics and all the information and the questions and the answers to be fascinating, but also because it gave so many answers to these questions that I had had for so long. And from there, I just kept wanting to learn more, and really I never turned back. I became Spiritist.
That's interesting. And it's interesting you're saying the first book he gave you is a spirits book, and it fits so well for you. And this opens a topic we'd like to discuss a little bit, Heather, because as you know, many people approach each one of us and ask, like, what's the best book to give to my friend, to my spouse, to somebody in my family, etc. And it varies. It depends on the person's profile. In your case, I think knowing a little bit of you, you have a more analytical mind. So the Spirits book was a perfect fit for other people, maybe other books. And I know you have something in your website that discusses a little bit about this too, right?
We present on our website the different books, and we have a section there that has many of the books that are available now in English, and I try to offer there a description of each book, and in some cases even a table of contents, and the website itself, all of that for people that are really new to kind of look around and see what interests them most. But I know that is really often a question people have when they want to share Spiritism with someone. What book should they provide? And like you say, each person's different. It happened that the Spirits book for me was, perfect. Just give me the facts, the questions and answers. But not everybody is ready for that. It can be kind of maybe intimidating for some people. They don't want to sit down and just study. It feels too much, too much like studying. And sometimes, we love these books by the Spirit Andre Luis that are novels. Some people, if they don't have some background information on Spiritism, it might be a nice story, but they think some of the things in there seem like science fiction or, something like that. So it just all depends.
It depends, exactly. And, I'm just browsing here. Andre Moreira and I, he's going to talk soon with us as well, but we're taking a look at the beautiful list you have on the Spiritist books. And I know at each book, when people click on it, you have like a description of the book, which is wonderful. And the list is quite comprehensive. But I know there are more books, for example, Andre Moreira's books. And this is just me saying. He's not saying anything. It's just me.
No,
but there are many more because it's a lot of work, right?
The books are coming out now, fortunately, so quickly that, admittedly, I need to do some catching up and bring more books onto this page, And it's wonderful. It's definitely something on the horizon here in the near future for us to do some updating.
Exactly, and this is the beauty, Heather, because I still encounter people who come to me and say, "Oh, I would like to do my meetings in English, but there aren't enough books." What would you say to that comment?
I would say they have to take a look because there are a lot of books available right now. I mean, when I started, we had the Spirit. Well, when I first learned about Spiritism, I don't even know if the translations were out yet. But soon after, we had like the Spirits book and the Gospel according to Spiritism, and a few others. And now there's so many, and they keep coming. Like I can't even keep up reading them myself.
Exactly. So it's fantastic. So I'd like to share with the listener. If you go to exploreспiritism.com, you see, as Heather mentioned, there is a site index. When you click there, you see many subtopics, sections. We will discuss more about these sections and much more, but just about the Spiritist books. Heather has been building this list of the books, the descriptions, which is fascinating. And if you want to know what's the best book for you to begin with or for somebody else, it depends, as Heather said. It depends on your profile. If you like more like a novel, go to Andre Luis books, go to Emmanuel's books. If you want more like the analytical type, then go to Kardec's books. And, recently we are recording the 15 clips of Leon Denis topics, and based on one of his books, After Death, which was recently published in the English version by the United States Spiritist Council. That is also a fantastic book, and many people have been reading that even to understand more about Allan Kardec. Now, Heather, being a spiritist is one thing. Learning about it, feeling that it's useful to you is one thing. Another thing is to create a website like Explore Spiritism. So what happened in between, like becoming a spiritist and deciding to create this amazing website?
Yeah, so Vanessa, fortunately, thanks to the fact that I had learned Portuguese, I was able to actually attend many Spiritist talks, at the Spiritist Center. And then, aside from the books that we had and that I kept, acquiring because I just kept buying these books, anyone who feels this enthusiasm for Spiritism can probably relate that when you're in a center or a place where there are a lot of Spiritist books available for sale, you just want to grab all of them and wish that by osmosis you could kind of, get all of that knowledge in your head really quick. But we got many books, and I actually had the chance to attend all of the classes covering the systematic study of Spiritism from the Brazilian Spiritist Federation.
Okay.
So that was really like a structured foundation to learn about Spiritism. Just doing a lot of reading and listening and learning and, talking. That is what gave me the background, and kind of catch up with Daniel, who grew up with all that. And then I remember the day I turned to Daniel and I said, we have to do something. People have to know about this. And that's when we came up with the idea of building the website.
That's interesting. Let me just interrupt you for a second. And for those who are listening to us, if you would like to access in the English version this study that Heather mentioned, the systematic study, we have it in English. It was a work we did at the Spiritist side of Baltimore years ago. It was a teamwork effort. We were coordinating it. And we have 7 workbooks, because there is 5A and 5B, 7 workbooks that we didn't simply translate because it wouldn't be well fitting, but we adapted it to the culture in the United States. But you can have free access to the PDF files of the 7 workbooks in what we called, just to make it simpler, Course on Spiritism. But it's the very systematic study that Heather is mentioning here at Kardec Radio. Just go to ssbaltimore.org/resources, and you're going to have access to Course on Spiritism, 7 workbooks that you can browse through, study with your group, and get a hold of Spiritism, as Heather is mentioning. If you want something that is ever more dynamic, because that's very good, very deep, but, over the years, after we finished implementing these workbooks in Baltimore, we created, inspired by the good spirits, we created what we call the roadmap program for the Spiritist study and practice. And the roadmap program you can access also at the Spirit Side of Baltimore or at the Spiritist Side of Virginia's website. And here we have the study phases, 3 phases of study, from Spiritism 101 to the Spiritist Science to advancements in the Spiritist Science, the spiritual laws of the Spiritist practice, and so on and so forth. And this has been the main source of studying for Spiritist groups in our groups. And the addition to this program is that it also creates a teamwork of volunteers would like to become workers or practitioners in the center. So they can become past givers, they can become mediums, and they can also be trained to be counselors, etc. So just go to Spiritist out of Baltimore, ssbaltimore.org or ssvirginia.org to get information about it as well. Heather, when you talk about a website, I remember when you began these efforts, they were, it was very interesting. And this is the beauty of it. Like Kardec, you begin it, as the needs will come, you start addressing the issues, and then it started expanding. So let's talk a little bit about the journey. Can you tell us, I would like you to mention, if possible, a little bit about the behind the scenes of building up the website before we go into the details. Would you mind sharing? Because we know it's not a straightforward thing.
Sure. So our initial, the initial idea was that we have to build a website. And one of our thoughts was that we didn't really want to have it within the website or URL of any particular spiritist group, not as a selfish thing, but we just wanted it to be about Spiritism itself. So everyone could just feel welcome to come and just be focused on the Spiritism and the teachings of Spiritism, and really explore what it has to offer. And that's kind of where the name came from, imagining people coming and looking around at the different topics, seeing what might interest them most at the time, and taking it from there. So we decided to give it the name Explore Spiritism. And this little ambitious idea became a huge research project. We tried to put it all together in an organized way, and I think for sure the format of the systematic study helped with that. But I also had some things in mind as I thought about newcomers to Spiritism, visiting this page, landing on this website. So we put together an outline, and then as we went from topic to topic, we gathered all of the books and materials that we had at hand that we wanted to use for each particular section, and then just little by little started writing out everything that you find there on the site.
Yes, that's beautiful. And, I understand that, building these resources are sometimes, for example, we are in a meeting and we observe that there is a certain need for addressing a specific issue or contents. Were there specific moments in your journey that you were particularly inspired by some events that happen around the world or in Spiritist conventions that you felt like more driven to expand parts of the website?
I don't know about any particular event, but I think that, two of the things that are most deeply developed in there are like reincarnation, spirits and reincarnation, and mediumship. Because that's probably, a couple of things that I found that interested me and that I thought Spiritism really has a lot to add. There is information, about, the existence of spirits and even, communication with spirits or reincarnation, but the Spiritist perspective and collection, a body of information on that is a little bit different. The reincarnation perspective that we have is one that's always progressive, and there's a lot to learn about that, but also the implications that has for us. extend into then the moral aspects as we learn about how our destiny is in our own hands. You know, the choices that we make, they really affect not only today, but our lives tomorrow, even after this life. And then mediumship, there's a lot in spiritualism in general about mediumship, but when Kardec brought the Medium's book, he really helped to understand a lot about how it works, in a technical way, but also kind of from my perspective, erased or addressed, fears people may have about communicating with spirits, because he presents the Spiritist acknowledgement. Okay, yes, we talk to friendly and inspiring and helpful spirits, but there are also spirits that, some that just are not as knowledgeable as others. There are also some that are not as loving, to say the least. And so we have to be able to distinguish between them by their character. And he talks about that in that book. And also we learn in the Medium's book and other Spiritist resources how the Spiritists use mediumship, which to me I don't really see yet, at least what I've been exposed to, something quite as extensive in terms of the work that Spiritists do through mediumship to help both incarnate and discarnate spirits who are suffering and need help. So those are pretty extensively developed,
If I may suggest something, you need to include the Spiritist magazine, Kardec Radio, in your list of Spiritist links in the website.
I have a page there on additional resources, and the Spiritist magazine. Yes, they're there. If you there's a link called additional resources for studying Spiritism, and I have Kardec Radio and the Spiritist magazine. I have your e-Spiritism, the web.
That's something.
There's a lot we have to share. Like you said, Vanessa, people that think that there's not material out there in English. I mean, that's fascinating and great what you mentioned about the course on Spiritism and the things on the Baltimore site, because I want to share those as well. I'm all about getting the word out. Every way that people can learn, we have to share it.
That's wonderful. And Heather, when we talk about mediumship, this is almost like a center stage in Spiritism. And many people who come to the Spiritist pathway, they are either in need of a spiritual treatment, or they need to find out ways in which they can exercise their mediumship in a safer and more effective way. And as you said, the website has resources that address this very topic so people can understand the Spiritist framework on mediumship. Heather, we're going to give a short break, but when we come back, as you said, you are here to spread the news, and recently you have added a feature to the website, which is the blog. We would like to know more about that as well, okay? After this beautiful message by Emmanuel, the kingdom of God is at hand.
The kingdom of God is at hand. Many times said the Lord, the kingdom of God is at hand. Until today, thousands of people have waited for its arrival through spectacular exterior events. Many expected through unspeakable cataclysms and feed their imagination with ghostly scenes incompatible with the divine mercy which presides our destinies. Thunders rumble in the firmament. Tsunamis and earthquakes. Mutinous crowds causing ruin. Flammable fluids in the atmosphere, turning it into devouring fire. Withering bombs destroying entire nations. Those people usually count on the uncanny and the fantastic so that they can feel they are at the gateway of the great change. There is no doubt that such catastrophic events may take place at any moment in people's experience in the field of nature. However, far from meaning the kingdom of God, they only reveal the need for a new battle, with a rougher work to be done by those who take part in the evolutional boards of humanity. The kingdom of God is at hand, yes it is, but before all else, in our capacity to build it inside us through the heaven that we can offer to our neighbor's soul. Let's attend to the accomplishments of the duties life brings to us, helping as much as we can for the victory of the good by following the love the Lord bequeathed to us, and we will reach, as early as possible, the celestial atmosphere for us and for others. That's why Jesus likewise was adamant and fair when stated, "When they say to you that the kingdom of God is here or there, do not believe them. Because, in truth, the kingdom of God is within you." Emmanuel. Psychography, Chico Xavier. Free translation.
What a beautiful message, which was actually read. Voiceover is by our friend Luis Sergio Moroda, who is one of the hosts at a specific segment on the Gospel According to Spiritism every Sunday at Kardec Radio. By the way, I myself will begin a new segment starting tomorrow at 8 p.m. Spiritist Awareness. We have hosts from around the world recording for you messages from the different angles of Spiritism, and you're welcome to listen to it. And you can listen to the previous segments. Just go to kardecradio.com. Now we have a specific tab, Spiritist Awareness. You click there, and all the programs are there. You can listen to all the specific segments. But I will begin a new one thanks to Andre Moreira and Ney Nicolato, because they suggested something from a book. It's not in English yet, and forgive us, but hopefully with your help we will. It's about interrupted youth. Beautiful reports and warnings from those young people who departed to the spiritual realm. I read yesterday one of the cases, a true account of a girl who was abused sexually by her father since age 4. But when she turned 16, she couldn't take the pain any longer. She quit her life. And then she came back from the afterlife to tell us the story, the previous lives, contents that led into those experiences, and then the breakdown of information given by educators in the group who put together this beautiful book, Interrupted Youth. And this is my free translation of the book. But I tell you, what a book. The authors are from the Spiritist Federation in the state of Espírito Santo in Brazil. And they were published by the AMI Editora, which is the publisher that Dr. Moreira leads in Brazil. So it's a book that is a must for us. Youth needs a space here at Kardec Radio. And thanks to Dr. Moreira, we finally found the resource to start sharing information and tools for a youth that needs to be healthier and happier. Right now, we are back here to the dialogue with Heather Balak Fonseca, who created with her husband Daniel ExploreSpiritism.com, and she sustains this effort, now marching towards another feature of the website, which is the blog, ever more dynamic. So what is it exactly? How did you, what happened for you to begin the blog?
Well, I felt like there was still more space to fill. There are some things that, we wanted to say and hopefully open up for some discussions that can be had. And I needed a space where we could be a little bit more personal. The website is, very educational and kind of formally structured. And we do have the Facebook page also where we do a lot of sharing, but you only have so much space to write something, and people don't expect to do any extensive reading on a Facebook post. So I wanted a place where we could put commentary and reflection, and I didn't want to mix all of that in with the website. I preferred to leave the website to function primarily as a source of education on the fundamentals of Spiritism. So the blog just gives a space to kind of write a little bit more freely, to do a lot of sharing, but also with some commenting. And I think also the blog offers some long-term searchability, in the internet searches, and more long-term shareability, if we could say, than Facebook, because it's easier to come across things on a blog that might have been posted some time ago, just through, like I said, search results or things like that, and then share those pages. And I think that's another thing that the blog offers. So,
yeah. And it's fantastic. We just received an email by our dear Abby Sher from Maryland, and she says, great show. After 10 years of being involved with Spiritism, there's plenty to nourish your soul in English. Thank you so much, Abby. You're such an adorable friend and a friend of Kardec Radio. Thank you evermore for sharing this. And by the way, for those who are listening to us, ExploreSpiritism.com. If you want to go straight to the blog section, go to ExploreSpiritism.blogspot.com. And I have to say this. First, I need to ask you, what is the frequency of your blogging? Does he
well,
have
I just started the blog late last year, so I don't really have a timed cadence, I think, at this point. Right now, I'm just, putting out some material as I develop it. I would maybe say it's been about at least once a week or, roughly something like that. I'm not a person even for Facebook, I don't really like, the pages blast every day, 10 things a day. And I think people need time to digest. And when you push things out too rapidly, it's just, then maybe it just becomes too much at once, right?
Yes.
So little by little, it's like put a little something out for people to kind of chew on, share, discuss. I hope to get some comments coming in where people can share their own experiences, because I think that is blogs are two parts, right? One's the actual post, and then you go to the discussions, and there's even further exploration of the topic. So
yeah, it's
that's
wonderful.
Another opportunity.
And I remember reading recently one of your blogs, and I asked you to kindly share it with the Spiritist magazine, because, we don't want to lose the content over time. And I know the Spiritist magazine, we keep all the previous versions, and like Kardec's magazine, it stays for generations to come. So we hope that we can keep your, articles, blog articles, feeding into the magazine. And there is one in particular that you wrote last Wednesday, which is very important. Last Saturday, we were talking about it at Kardec Radio, how many people think that when we think about Spiritism or spirituality or religions, we're not too analytical. When you refer to an article at the Huffington Post in which the writer mentions how people with true analytical thinking may disrupt their thinking or belief in regards to religion. And this is the opposite hand of what Kardec actually brought to us. And I like the way you addressed it. And I'd like to expand this conversation a little bit more with the presence of our dear Dr. Ana Maria, who is here with us. Thank you, Andrew, for being with us. We're talking about, the reasoning and faith that Kardec says, and they go so well together. But for people around the world, it's still, paradoxical to reason our faith. People cannot yet grasp how it is possible to do it. What do you think about it when Kardec mentioned that the strong faith, the one that lasts, all challenges, is the one that you reason?
Mm-hmm. Hi, Heather. Hi,
hello,
dear listeners. It's a pleasure to share with you this time. I'm very happy for your work. Last time I was in Miami, I found your book in Conscious Living Spiritist group. I just bought and I started reading immediately, and I was very amazed and surprised because of an American did that. And we are not used to. We are used to find the translated books. And I remember I said to Susanna, "Oh, this is amazing. This is a very important and this is really a need for the Spiritist movement in U.S." So then I found the Explore Spiritism. You know that I've been helping some groups around the world to develop the study of Spiritism. And some of them are just beginning this study, as for example, the group of Tallinn in Estonia. And I remember that I suggest them to study in the website of Spiritist Society of Baltimore and the Spiritist Network, and also in Explore Spiritism. And this has been a very important source of information for them. Every time.
That's great.
Yes, that's very interesting. Every time I get there, they said to me something new that they studied and they found in the website, because they only have the English version to study. These are people that do not speak Portuguese. So it's a very important job that Kardec Radio, the Spiritist Society of Baltimore, you with Explore Spiritism, and many people are doing, producing material straight in English, and you should keep going because this is very, very important. I remember when I was a teenager and I started studying Spiritism in Brazil, even with so many sources of books available in Portuguese for me, I found many answers in websites like yours with specific topics, and I started reading and studying, and this helped me a lot to understand many topics, many specific points of Spiritism. So this is very important. I suggest the listeners to really study this site and to follow your blog, because it's a very important source of information.
Thank you very much.
Isn't it?
And when Kardec says about the combination of reasoning and faith.
Yeah. So, Spiritism is a science, a philosophy, and with religious consequence that allow us to understand the law the laws of God. So Allan Kardec really teaches us to search the truth by combining reason and feelings. So our reason can allow us to understand the law of God, so our faith can be based on understanding of life. And this helped us to really understand what is going on in our lives in a reasonable basis. So we can be rational, understand things, and also feel our life and our path and our needs, and combining by these two things, reason and feelings, we can also find our particular path and understand a lot of gods and have a more dynamic and a more spiritual life,
Yeah. And Andre, since Heather and you have been writing books, I find that writing about Spiritism is not for everyone. And the call to write, would you like to comment a little bit about the responsibility? And you as well, Heather, I would like Dr. Andre to comment, and you as well, about, the call and responsibility when we are writing about Spiritism. Would you like to comment, Andre, please?
Yes, it's a very big responsibility. We need to research a lot before writing something about it. Specifically, my books have been produced by a lot of research in many specific topics, and as I know Heather does, I know that she does the same. And it's very important that people that produce material about Spiritism keep studying all the time. Kardec said that in the Spiritist, in the Medium's book, and also in the Spiritist book. So we need to keep studying Spiritism all the time, because Spiritism is dynamic. Spiritism evolves as the science evolves itself, and we have always a new link, a new connection, a new thing to understand and to produce with the understanding of the Spiritist basis, and also producing new ideas and conceptions based on these Spiritists. I don't know the name. Like my English failed now. So based on the Spiritist base, it's the foundation, exactly. Based on the Spiritism foundation. So what do you think, Heather?
I totally agree with you. Like I said, the website when we started it was a research project, and so everything on the website is not opinion or just I believe this. It's all about what Spiritism teaches, and Daniel was very fundamental in my process of learning about Spiritism. Because of his background, he really could help keep me guided and grounded in terms of discerning between, all the resources out there that talk about spirits and even that use the word Spiritism, instilling in me the understanding about the importance of Kardec's foundation and making sure that, like you said, Andre, even though every Spiritism evolves, it still will remain aligned, with the basis that Kardec laid out. And another thing that for me is a great responsibility in writing, not only, being based on the sources and not my own opinion, but the wording that we use is really important. The way that you express something has, an impact on someone and might completely turn them off or make them more interested. And it's not that we want to write things in a way that's just because, we want them like to sugarcoat something or make it attractive. I mean, the information, the concepts are the same, but I tend to see Spiritism really as a source of inspiration and hope. So I don't like to say, write about being punished, for example,
Yes.
because I think that it's all about learning. We have consequences for our choices, but it's really a learning process.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean about, we have to be careful with the words that we use. It is a real big responsibility.
This is a very important topic, rather, because sometimes Kardec used the word punishment, and we need to understand that at that time, Kardec had a very Catholic influence on the belief system of that time, and sometimes he used some words that today can be understand in another basis. So when he says about punishment, he's not saying about a God that punch people and a tribunal that is judging people, but he's saying about the action of law of action and reaction, or cause and effect, and understand that and translate that for the nowadays words and
exactly.
Culture is very important. Even in Portuguese, we must do that all the time.
Yes, exactly. And it's very interesting because, I think the blog that you're doing, your book, Andre Moreira's books, and many others, have an opportunity to rescue those important contents and translate into the modern world, as Andre was saying as well. So, we are marching towards the conclusion of the program, fortunately. Just a beautiful discussion here, and we're very grateful to everyone who is listening to us live. We just want to remind everyone that whenever you have a question, and people have recently writing emails about, their spiritual needs. Sometimes they feel they are being obsessed and they need spiritual treatment. They are in different parts of the world, sometimes in parts of the world where there is no Spiritist center. You feel free to contact Kardec Radio, and we will send you the answers, and making you connect with people that will be nearby. Sometimes through Skype, if you don't have a group, you can have access to a conversation with a counselor, somebody who can fraternally talk to you, kindly talk to you, and give you some spiritual insights so you can find the treatment that you need. For some of us, Spiritism is a source of information. For others, it's a source of, rescue because we are feeling troubled. As Kardec said, it's here for everyone. And the website Explore Spiritism offers information, resources for everyone to find the comfort and the inspiration. By the way, there's a section in the website that says Messages of Comfort and Inspiration, which is fantastic. Heather, may I ask you to kindly give us your final comments for today, please?
So, Vanessa, I just would really like to thank you for having me on the program, giving me the chance to explain more about, what this website is all about and the process of developing it, and exposing also the blog, and how that will be different for the website. I would like to invite all of the centers, anyone from different groups that might be listening, to share these resources, with your members on your pages. And I'm doing the same. I'm trying to share all the resources out there that I find, and together we can collaborate to bring this to as many people there are out there who want to really benefit from it. So thank you very much.
That's beautiful. And as you're talking about resources, I can't forget to recall here that Kardec Radio has unique resources on Spiritist audiobooks, because Heather describes the books, the Spiritist books, in the website Explore Spiritism, and you can listen to some of the books right here, and you can download, for example, the Spirits book, which was read by Stephen Shepard and John DeRosa. They did beautiful work, and you can listen to each and every part of it right here at KardecRadio.com. Just click on the tab Spiritist Audio, and you can listen to the Spirits book, to the Heaven and Hell cases, beautiful cases that Kardec reports, from happy spirits to harder spirits to suicides, and also the Buch no Solar, which was read by Franziska Kranz from Germany with Mackenzie Mello in the United States, Jesus in the Home, and more recently we're going to start updating The Messengers by Andrea Lewis. These are also resources that of the books that Heather mentioned, and you can listen if you don't find time to read about them. I want to thank you and commend you for the work. Thank you for the work you've been doing, Heather, the Explore Spiritism, and specifically the blog, which has been also very important. And we hope to read more about what you have to share in the website. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you very much.
And now we would like to ask Dr. Moreira, who is here for several talks. Some of them are going to be webcast. We cannot promise now, but potentially his talk on Monday at the Spiritist side of Virginia will be webcast. We're verifying the resources to do it, and just keep an eye at Facebook, on the Facebook page of the Spiritist side of Virginia, or the website ssvirginia.org. He's going to talk about his most recent book, Reconciliation with the Self, the Family, and God. Beautiful. Dr. Moreira, would you like to say something?
I would like to thank you all for this opportunity, to thank Heather for her amazing work. And I'm very glad to be part of this Spiritist movement. And I want more people to get to know this amazing philosophy and science, and that allow us to understand that we are divine creations, that God is not a judge that punishes or give us gifts, but it's an unconditional love that sustains life and allow us to keep going, to evolve, to go through the perfection that we are planning to reach with love. So it's very important for us to understand that we are divine dreams. Each one of us is a particular dream of God's love. So we have His seed inside of us. We are planning to develop this seed, to produce as divine creations that we are. And each incarnation is a big opportunity to understand more and more the laws of God, to develop this connection with His love, and to produce the way we can our love efforts, our love actions. And so this is the source of happiness for us. So I'm very glad to be part of this movement and to study and learn every time with you. Thank you so much, Vanessa and Kardec Radio, for this amazing opportunity.
Thank you, Andrew Moreira, for being with us, and we look forward to a weekend of learning and also a learning opportunity on Monday. Next week, when we come back to Kardec Radio on Saturday, we will have a program that will address the questions of many of you. It's about spiritual immunization. It's a message that was given by the Spirit Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, and talks about how we can prevent problems and immunize ourselves spiritually to create a happier life. It's a unique message that has not been yet translated into English, but will be here for you at Kardec Radio, Spiritual Immunization. And There are many beautiful programs lined up in the weeks to come. And don't forget, Kardec Radio is here Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, almost every day of the week. We have many good things happening, and the proposal here is to nourish your soul wherever you are in the world. We'd like to wrap up the program with our prayer. The prayer is always an opportunity for us to attune with the higher spirits, help one another and ourselves as well. Dear Mother, Father God, in this unique opportunity of being here amongst like-minded minds, friends from all over the world, we feel truly blessed. We thank you for the strength you have given to these friends, Heather and Daniel, Dr. Moreira, and many others, for the work they share with us, replenishes us, re-energize ourselves, so we can keep on marching in the inevitable progress of life, but in a much wiser way. But right now, we would like to dedicate the benefits that you share with us, the spiritual energies, the fluids, with the people around the world who are suffering, and sometimes suffering from extreme conditions, not only in the physical realm, but in their spiritual, emotional selves. May they feel your loving embrace, console their hearts, renew their minds, and feel how much they are loved by you. And so be it. Dear listener, what a joy. Many resources for you. Just go to explorespiritism.com. Lots of resources for you. Share with everyone in your life, because good things we cannot hesitate to sharing with everyone around the world. Thank you so much for everyone who has been with us live today, and for you who is listening to us on demand, a big hug as well. Enjoy your life and keep feeling the blessings of God always.
Thank you for listening to Kardec Radio, broadcasting live every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Email us and share your comments at www.kardecradio.com. Until next time, we wish you many blessings.